My background is actually in computer engineering technology. I studied at Algonquin College here in Ottawa. Always lived in Ottawa my entire life. And now I work in the federal government working with the media. My interest in public transit and the reason why I started O-Train Fans actually started back in the year 2000 when I was finishing my time in high school. I was starting to take public transit to go to school and then later going to Algonquin, crossing from the very east end to the very west end. And just being really fascinated by, the various types of buses, the types of transit stations that we had. Obviously, Ottawa had a very extensive, and still does, bus rapid transit system known as the Transitway. So the scale and scope of all the stations across the city and the dedicated roadways, it really mimicked what we have now with the O-Train. Grade divided, separated, transit that was free of traffic. So it was a great precursor to what we have now with the O-Train. And now that the O-Train has arrived, I started getting really interested in it, following the development of the stations, of the trains themselves. And I wanted to help showcase what we now have in the city of Ottawa. So I decided, since nobody had done it, if anybody's going to do it, I'd like it to be me. So I created O-Train Fans website. And the whole goal was really to help educate and share with people my knowledge and what other people have been able to share about this great system, from the trains to the different stations to the different lines, how things work, the simulators, the yards, the control center, and just really to give people a behind-the-scenes look and an in-depth look at all the different multiple facets of this extensive light rail transit system here in Ottawa. So on the O-Train Fans website, there's actually quite a few unique features. I think the most unique thing would be the way I've decided to actually present the information. So when you first go to the website, you'll see at the very top in the menu, the trains, the stations, the lines, a couple other things. But on each of these pages, all the information actually links together. So if let's say you're on the Confederation Line page, you'll see information about the Confederation Line, information about the trains that run on the Confederation Line, information about the yard, the simulator where they train on, and then information about the stations on the Confederation Line. So everything really comes together. It's not like you're searching for related information. It's presented all together. It's all grouped together, and I find that's really unique. I've seen many websites about transit, about rail, about transportation, and sometimes the information can be, like the trains are in one section, the stations are in another section. Everything is it can be sometimes a little disjointed. I wanted to keep everything together. So that's definitely one of the unique features. Just the way that everything's organized, grouped together is something unique. Another thing is the system map. Now, I'm going to give credit to Derek Ellis, who created the interactive O-Train system map on our website. He's put lots of hours into that. Essentially what that is you can actually see on the map the alignment of all the tracks on the Confederation Line, on the Trillium Line. You can see where the crossover switches are, where the switches, the crossovers, the yard tracks, how that's configured, where the stations are, as well as the expansions. So we're going now to Orleans in the east, we're going west to Baseline and Moody, and we're going south to Limebank and Riverside South and to the Ottawa International Airport. So you can actually see where the train's going to be going. You can see where the crossovers, where the rail bridges, where it's going to be underground. We have all those features and those attributes clearly indicated on the map. And it's interactive. You can zoom in, you can see satellite view. It's really interesting like that. And further to that, there's going to be stage 3 coming some years after this opens. So sometime beyond 2025, probably 2030, somewhere around there. We have those proposals on the map as well. So that's definitely very exciting. So you can see how it's going to go in its final iteration all the way down to Barhaven, and then complete its run out to Canada. You're going to be able to see how that's all going to come together. So that's very exciting. Of course, I'll have to mention again, unique on the site, the behind-the-scenes features. So videos of the simulators, how they drive and operate these trains. on both lines. This one, line 1, and line 2, the Trillium line with the diesel multiple units, the Alstom Karedia Lint. So you can see how those work, how the yards look, and as well the control center. There's obviously going to be more as time goes on. So definitely a lot of really interesting, unique features on the site to check out. What do I think about the O-Train? I just love it. I'm so happy it's here. I love hearing the sound when it goes by. It sort of makes like this nice metallic gliding kind of sound, and you actually even hear sometimes the rails and the catenary making this characteristic sound when a train is coming from the distance, so you can kind of tell that a train is soon to be arriving. So I find that really neat. But just the system in general, the stations, they're big, they have lots of glass, lots of natural light, various different designs, but yet a similar design language throughout. I'm also very fond of the underground downtown stops. So Rideau, Parliament, Lyon, those are fantastic stations underground where we used to be catching the bus on the surface. And to just see how those stations are so massive and cavernous underground, and to have lived in the city so long, it's such a transformation for the downtown. And then to see how these stations as well link into the surrounding buildings. So the Rideau Center, Place de Ville, Sun Life Center, and there's even the potential of that expanding further like Montreal and like Toronto's PATH network. That really excites me. And of course, the trains, I find they're actually really interesting, from the sounds they make to just the way that everything operates and comes together, the innovations that they also have in the stations. So now we have fare gates, making use of the Presto card. We have ticket vending machines that are really innovative because they even have live video chat, so you can actually do video chat with OC Transport representative. I've actually even made use of it once or twice. I bought the wrong ticket, but I was going out with my family. I bought a single ticket instead of the family ticket. On the weekends, it's the same price, so you get a better value. Just did a quick video chat with them. They issued me the proper tickets from the machine remotely. Problem solved. So very innovative with that. And as well, just the way that everything comes together, from the announcements to the fact that we're also going to have buskers and retail coming to these stations in the near future is very exciting. So again, I talked earlier about how I'm very fond of Montreal and the ambience in the stations. We're going to start seeing that happening here, and we're going to see more of that with the busking, with the retail that we're going to be seeing very soon in 4 stations with coffee shop. It's not much, but it's a start, and it's going to get there, and it's very exciting to see that. So there's a lot of things that I really like about this system, and a lot of great potential. And of course, I'm very happy to see that we're not sitting on what we have right now. We're moving ahead with expansion. So we're going to be going to the Far East and to Orleans by 2024. We're going to be going west to Moody and Baseline, and we're going to be going south to the airport and to the Riverside South and to Limebank Station. So great to see that, and they're talking already about stage 3, moving even farther than that. So it's something that's really growing very fast. And to keep in mind that we started off with the O-Train, the original line, back in 2000, 2001. It was an old discontinued freight line through the core of the city from north to south. That was a pilot project. That more than proved to people that, this city is ready for rail transit, and we're reaping the results now of those decisions and of those decisions that were made back in the day to pilot the original O-Train and then to move forward with this. So very exciting, lots to love, and I think the system is great. I mean, obviously I have to mention that I'm not tone deaf and I'm not blind, that there are issues with the system right now. It's very unfortunate because there was every hope and potential that things would have gone vastly differently. I certainly had hoped that it would have gone a lot differently than it has, but I mean, there's been issues, from the doors to the switches freezing up in the winter to even the pantograph and the catenary, the supply the power to the train, getting slush and salt on New Year's Eve of all days, and immobilizing some trains, and now wheel cracks. There's been some rails that have broken. I certainly, it disappoints me that it hasn't had the spotless start that it should have deserved. But I mean, it's going to get there. In other cities, and even cities that are working on projects right now, they all have issues, they all have setbacks, but we're going to get there. I'm always optimistic, and I know it's going to get resolved in time. But it's unfortunate that we're at that right now, but that doesn't diminish how much I love the system and my passion for it, or what I've been doing on O-Train Fans. So I actually have a couple favorite transit systems. Obviously, I'm very fond of Ottawa's system, the O-Train, and OC Transport in general. Very proud of our new system that we have here. The stations, the underground stations, especially downtown Ottawa, that's something we'd never seen before in the city. It's like a mini subway or metro right in downtown Ottawa, where we used to be served by buses on the surface going down Albert and Slater, getting caught up in traffic lights. So a significant transformation in the city. I'm also a big fan, and I'm going to go as far as say I love Montreal's Metro and the STM. They've done something truly fantastic there. From the trains that are just unbelievable to see, the new Azure trains, the MPM 10, or even the older MR73 or the MR63 that have been retired. The characteristic sound that they make when they start up and they slow down, and just the way that the system is put together and it all comes together. The big stations, the artwork, the busking, even the retail. Some of these stations have restaurants or fast food counters or retail outlets. I'd say more than half of them have a quickie of some sort at the very least. It's really amazing to see the ambience, the atmosphere that's created. But again, that comes down to Montreal just being a very vibrant and lively city to begin with all the activity and the animation, the ambience, the joie de vivre that is shared all across Quebec. So that really makes its way into the metro, and I just love the ambience, as well as the way that it's connected to Montreal's underground city, the réseau, where you can come right out into buildings, or even just walk in the downtown core. I've walked it many times, passing through 6-7 stations, about 45 minutes, just walking underground from one point to another without having to come outside, and how that all connects to the metro and how the metro actually fostered all that. It's just very exciting how that's been such an innovation in Montreal, and to see that starting in Ottawa is very exciting too. And of course, I'd also like to mention Medellin in Colombia. They have a metro, but they also have what they call the metro cable. It's a series of gondolas, aerial lifts, that go from the metro stations and bring people up into the residential areas, into the mountains. Previously in the past, before this development, it could actually take people an hour and a half, 2 hours to actually make their way from these regions all the way down to the main part of the city. That really impacted people's lives. And to have brought this in the past 10 years, that really changed things for people. They can work in other places. It creates other opportunities, because instead of taking an hour and a half or 2 hours, now they can do it in 15 minutes, that same journey. And I just love that technology. I'm a big skier myself, so I'm really into chairlifts and gondolas and ski lifts and all that. So to have aerial lifts make their way into cities to be used as a public transit, that's really exciting. And it's not something to laugh about either, because you can move 2,000-3,000 or more people per hour per direction. That's a decent amount of people for something that's environmentally friendly. It's all electric. Some places actually even have it supplemented by solar power. So very exciting to see that. Creates opportunities for people, growth for the city, great view of the city when you're flying through it, new perspective. So definitely those three cities, Ottawa, Montreal, Medellin, definitely among my favorites in public transit.